Great. Step back a little bit. Thank you. Remember what I told you? You gotta hold it.
I'm gonna kill your abuelo.
Your hand is covering the lens.
No, it's not.
Hold it. The other thing with hold it here on the bottom, and you'll have a more steady hand.
Don't touch me.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna edit later, so
I know.
go slow. Okay, ready? Okay, we're gonna make cherry pie for work. We pre-filled a dough that's already been made from the store. Get it in the refrigerated aisle. 2 crusts come in there, bottom and the top. We've already filled this, pre-filled that, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a lattice style top. We're going to show you how to do that. We prepared this apple pie earlier, and we took out the pie crust, put it out, laid out in wax paper. We have our lattice style cutter. We pre-cut 1 strip so you know exactly how much to do, and basically just, you can be as precise as you want, but the whole idea is just to cut it up into even strips, not too thick, not too thin, and you get that real nice style on there with the wavy cut. So simple. Just a steady hand. Do 1/2, and then you do the other half. If you don't know how to do orientation, that's the good thing about wax paper. Then it's easier to cut from left to right because you don't get in the way of your visual, and that way you cut the pie evenly. So that's how you go about that. So the whole idea, of course, like I said, is to strip it up. You could get a ruler and mark it, make sure everything is precisely each length, so that way you don't have one too large, one too small. But of course by the time you did that, it'll be tomorrow morning and too late for the pie. We're not in engineering class, this is Pie 101, easy. There we go. So when you cut it, you get that real nice design on the edge. Of course when you do it 2, you get the double on each side. You get a real nice crisscross on that. Okay, so once you've done that, set that off to the one side a little bit. Bring your top over here. The whole idea is to try to lay 5 strips from top to bottom. So naturally, of course, you have to get the longest strips to cross the longest portions. And your best bet is to put one edge on here, because one edge might be a little bit longer, but you can always come back and cut it later on, which we did over here. And you'll see where we actually did cut them so that it's all the same length, otherwise you'll have long strips hanging over, and you don't want that. So there we go, there's strip number 1. Just take your time, and here's exactly what I was talking about. Make it nice and even. And like I said, it's going to overhang a little bit, but that's okay because you can come back and cut that later. Strip number 3. As you can see, it's not quite laying. I leave a little space in between. And then I go back and do the same thing for the other side, from top to bottom. Like I said, you want to have an even number going across and an odd number going up and down. So that's where you want to put at least 5 to 7, depending on how many strips you cut. We've got 4. Now we've got 5. And so we might do one more. It doesn't really matter if you do it that way or not. Let's grab this strip here. It's a little bit smaller. This one's even smaller than that, and I think that'll work better. There we go, perfect. And of course, this one's really small here. So where to go? And there we go. So how do you make the crisscross? Well, it's simple. You lift up every other one and put them off to the side a little bit. That's why you want to leave them long on one side, because it's easier to lift them from that edge. And then of course you get your long strip. And this one you definitely want to center it. And then you cross it back over. That's how you start the strip. Now, since we're doing every other one, now you gotta lift these ones up exactly the same way. And if you get in the shadows, camera person, step off to one side so you're not in the shadows.
Okay.
Okay? And same thing, it's crisscrossed. You go back across. Pay attention, cameraman. 'Cause you're gonna make that video
Toby,
dizzy. You're gonna make that video dizzy.
What the hell?
Sorry, Zoe.
Make the video dizzy.
No.
And there you go. Don't worry about the
Toby.
dogs. The dogs will be fine. So
Yeah, just
it
like-
doesn't have to be exactly ones you cut. Just get something that fits. Go back across. As you can see, now it's taking shape. And now we'll do it the easy way. Go back and do the opposite way. So the same thing. Lift every other one where you left off. And then you get the next longest one that could fit in there. And there you go, perfect. Just leave enough space to leave a visual in between where it shows you that you've got the pie there. You remind the dog will be fine. Lift up every other one. And grab the next largest piece. That might be too small. So let's grab this one here. That should be just right. Yep, that's just right. Lay it in there. Back and forth. So forth and so on. Lift every other one. It's easy to see that because it'll cross back. And then of course that one we need a smaller piece. So that fits just there perfect. The shadows are in there. And you go back and forth. If you have a little pie crust left over, that's okay. That means you did perfect because you want to leave space. And so like we talked about earlier, just cut the pieces. You're not paying attention. You're watching here. Put that camera down here, please. Thank you. Just cut the extra pieces off. You can put that aside and cook it little cookies if you want, or you can make Play-Doh. Shape it. You can make a little pie crust here and there, and that's it. It doesn't have to be spectacular. And that's it. So we're glad you could join us. We'll show you the visual after it's all completed, and we're out. Oh my God! You got to turn it off before you